program, listening from great masters. It's so lovely. Thank you so much, Sarisha garu, for giving me this opportunity. So, friends, I will continue with the next path, which is right mindfulness. I will just say what I can, like, from what I understand. So, when I think about right mindfulness, I just get this word flashlight. Why? Because if we start thinking about like how many of us are practicing, like for example, if I'm driving on a familiar route, right? How many of us are actually doing it without autopilot? Like, even while we are eating or while we are walking or while we are listening to somebody, how much do we actually pay attention to? Most of the time, we just run in that autopilot mode while we are washing dishes or cooking or doing something. So, Buddha is talking about that right mindfulness that we do. Like, if I see the word literally means going back to the roots, like that means being present in your mind. So Buddha says that we need to bring back our attention to what we are doing. So, living in that present, basically being mindful. So, mindfulness is like not scattering everywhere. So, if I kind of take an example, I have a probably I have a bulb. Okay, I have just a lit the bulb in like a big room. That light spreads across everywhere. Okay, so it may not be sufficient or no, but it spreads on all the directions. But instead of using the bulb, if I use a flashlight, I am focusing that light only on one part, which I need. So instead of becoming a weak lamp, we should become this focus light, basically, right? So how we do this mindfulness, how we apply? Buddha gave like four foundations. One is kaya anupasana, that what Buddha says. Basically, that is watching our body, being mindful about our body, right? So we are paying very clear attention to our physical experiences, like our breathing, our posture, our movements, right? So basically, here also we go back to breathing. That's why Patri sir gave us meditation, observing breath. Patri sir also used to tell us, like, not when you just sit, you are observing your breath. While you are doing everything, even you are cooking, you have to be in this present moment and observe when you observe your breath, you're coming back to your present moment and you are mindful, right? So why breath? Because breath is related to the body action. Breath is related to body action. So when you're anxious, you'll know that your breath is you're breathing fast, right? So if you are able to observe and not control, like balance, bring it back to its natural state, then your body is present and your mind becomes present. So that's why watching breath becomes most important, right now. So that's very simple. Going back to breath is what we should do. The second part is about Vedanupasana, like what are your feelings, what are your emotions. But like each experience you kind of mindfully feel, right? Whether it is a pleasant experience or an unpleasant experience or neutral, It is not about judging, but how are you feeling it? That's more important, right? So every moment when you're doing chores, or is it a craving or it's an aversion? Why are you intercepting? Like for example, when you smell a food, why is it unpleasant for you? Like usually we don't think about that. At least I know that my smell sense is very bad. I don't even feel it. So bring that presence and awareness into your life when you are practicing. The third one Buddha talks about is like Chittanupasana, thinking about your mind, observing the quality of your mind, right? Is it agitated or is it calm? Is it focused? Are you feeling again? Like this is going back to all the previous parts that we have learned till now. So, being mindful, what are your thoughts? Watching your thoughts. And then the Manapasana, like watching out the phenomenon or the mental objects. So, what is your perception? Like, you got this thought. The moment we start judging people, we should think first step is to not letting that thought come in, like that, putting that right effort or filtering out, not letting that thought, don't give that thought the energy. Basically, we say like, you don't let it. But if you're aware that, oh, this thought is coming, but going down one step below, understanding why that came, that thought came. So why that thought came is because of you created the perception. Like, why did that arise? Like, what are the paths? So again, if we go into like there are those five hindrances when we talk about in the right effort. So understand like why that strong craving is coming. Watch it without interfering, and then understand the root of it. That's how Buddha explains how do we practice, right? Mindfulness. It's not about like so how again we do it is by practicing meditation. Again, going back to Anapanasati. It is simple, right? So this is the sixth path, and the next path is right concentration. So again goes back to that the light that we are talking about. Okay, so if flashlight is mindfulness, concentration becomes the flash, a magnifying lens. So in the book, I don't remember the name of the book, like about the Eightfold Path, the author gives a very good example. These three, effort, concentration and mindfulness, they go together. He gives an example like, three friends are walking in a park. They see a very beautiful tree with beautiful flowers. They want to pluck the flowers from the tree. So one boy stands as a step, bends down and stands as a step, and the second boy tries to catch up to the flowers, but he cannot. He's not not strong enough. Like he's not brave enough. He feels like he's unstable. He cannot pluck the flower up. So the third boy comes in and gives his shoulder to support the boy who is plucking. So if the boy who became the step is the right effort, and the boy who is giving the shoulder is right mindfulness, and the boy who is actually plucking the flower is the concentration. So all these three go together. When we put all these three together, then we can overcome suffering, and we will be in the right path to achieve. So yeah, that's right, concentration. So yeah, um so what happens in the mind, like when we are developing the right concentration, they are in four levels. Okay, so the first level is like you are in the level of like a water. Okay, you are applying, you're at joy and you're at ease, you're very gentle at that point of time. Like you're in a water, your mind is focused on the object, you breathe. um, you're also practicing all the other parts of Eightfold Path, like kindness and bringing out the positive things, right? You're not wandering, like you're just nice and bliss. Okay, the more you practice meditation, the more you practice these paths, then the second level is going into that inner confidence and reducing that mental chatter. Now you are trying to practice all these things, and then the more you practice, you are going to this part of you slowly or reduce it, the mental chatter. You don't have unnecessary thoughts anymore. Like you'll feel very calm inside, like you feel that stillness, right? Sukha. You'll get that joy and bliss inside. And then the more you are practicing all these things, and then you go into that state of equanimity, right? Like because now you stop judging people. Now you start not interfering in others' lives, right? You become um, you come to an ease. You start observing things. Um, you will not blame yourself for things. Like even if it's suffering, you will try to see it, observe it, or I'm seeing it. Like, instead of saying I am sad, you will start saying that I feel sad. There is sadness in me. You go into that state of observer. And then in the last, the deepest level is that pure equanimity and radiant awareness. Now you start feeling, you get the clarity, you see, you are seeing oneness everywhere. You see the same self, the same consciousness that is across everyone, right? And it becomes like that pure light within you. You become pure and unintentional every time, like spreading that same love. So all these are outcomes of proper meditation using the right concentration, right? It's not just enough for, so the into each level that you are crossing, the intention of why you are doing this changes. Like the more you clearly see your purpose of life, you clearly see it's not about me ending this suffering, it's about me knowing more, going deep, deepening my understanding of the life and the existence, and exploring what you are. So all that um, is beyond, it is it is I would say it's like going beyond satisfaction. It's not content, it's not satisfaction, it is something else that we all are looking for, right? So that is about the seventh path. And then we have the eighth path, like the right development of wisdom. So basically I have actually spoke about the wisdom end of the day, right? So while we are practicing all these things, the right development of wisdom comes in clearly seeing what it is, right? And now we build this into not just understanding or knowing, we start experiencing things, right? Wisdom, as Patri says, is not what knowledge is, right? When you actually apply into your life, that becomes wisdom. Clarity comes into picture and experiences come into picture. So So like going, when I understood, when I read through it, or when I like see these eightfold path, you start applying one each simultaneously, e- or you do one after the other. Basically, even if you don't realize that you are doing this, you are following the eight path. But the moment you start coming into spirituality, you start doing all these things naturally. So the more you do meditation, end of the day, my takeaway is do meditation. Do anapanasati simply, um, because the moment you start doing all these things naturally, you will start learning. You will start applying all the eightfold path naturally into your life, and such a beautiful structure Patriji has given us, that about Sajan Sangatyam and Swadhyaya, right? So when we do these things together, we naturally fall into that eightfold path. We are naturally practicing it, and we naturally attaining enlightenment. Enlightenment is, again, I say, is like milestone, but there is a lot beyond that what we are all looking for. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.